Welcome to Prophets of Fable with your host, Janine. Today we are reading the book of Joseph, chapters 21 through, I think, 32, where Israel gives blessings to each of his children. Enjoy it.
Chapter 21. The tribe of Reuben, behold, a son. And it came to pass that Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you what shall befall my seed in the last days. Gather yourselves together, and hear, ye that are Israel, and hearken unto Jacob your father. And filled with the breath of Ha Elohim, Jacob spoke unto his son Reuben, saying, Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to my bed. Then thou did defile it. Therefore thy throne shall be set to the east and to the south, for thou art beneath even thy youngest of thy brethren in Israel. But in the 9th month, even as cometh the winter, thou shalt yet find thy strength, that when the spring shall come, thy seed shall be ready. And thou art as the mandrake plant, for thy roots are strong, and the word of thy seed shall flow with power, and thy seed shall seek reason and wisdom, and not go to war quickly. Yet thy seed shall too be strong in their word and known by reasoning. And a red banner shall go out before thee and thy seed, for thou art a fire and a strength before Yahweh. And the judgment of thy seed shall be known in the last days, but thy seed shall sleep before the face of Yahweh. East, representing Avinu, God the Father. South, representing Holy Ghost, God of the Spirit. Mandrake plant means love plant. In Kabbalah, red signifies fire, strength, and judgment. But thy seed shall slumber before the seat of Yahweh, and their rest shall be great. For even as thou went up to my couch, so too shall thy seed seek after another at the first. But behold, when thy seed shall awaken, how great shall be their victory! Yea, how great shall be the strength of their determination! And none shall stop them. For this day I have declared that the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. And thou, thy seed, shall be brought up by Ephraim. The love of thy seed for the seed of Ephraim shall be renowned. And thy seed shall be established with their brethren in Ephraim, and their kinship shall not be forgotten. For in the last days many things shall come to light, and a voice of reason must need be heard. And when it shall come to pass that Ephraim and Judah shall establish their bonds, then the seed of Reuben shall be appointed the judgment seat to sit in their stead and to represent them in the times of need. And great shall be the counsel of thy seed. And thy daughters in that day shall surely pour out libations upon the altar of Yahweh, and awaken their hearts and souls to Elohim that keep them and succored them in their slumbers. And thy daughters shall rule over councils, and their counsel shall be known. But during the time of their slumber, they shall sleep very deeply, yea, even in the great slumber in the bedchambers of another love. Yet Yahweh shall keep them, keep watch over thy seed until they should awaken. And thy seed shall travel first to the north, and then to the east and to the west. And there they shall find their rest for a time, but their camp shall be to the south. For there doth the breath of Elohim preside, and the fire of Elohim, and the strength of Elohim. And after thy seed shall slumber for a time, El Elyon shall send out thy brother Ephraim to awaken thy seed. And though they shall reject him at the first, he shall strive until thy seed shall have found their rest. Chapter 22. The tribe of Simeon, he has heard my suffering. And filled with the breath of Ha Elohim, Jacob spoke unto his son Simeon, saying, Simeon and Levi are brethren, their Mechera are vessels of malicious violence. And Oh, that my soul should never come into their secret. Mine honor shall not be united to their assembly, for in their anger they slew a man, and they killed beast for pleasure. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. And for this, Simeon, thy right hand did wither, yet in thy reproach was it healed. And thus to protect thy seed, Yahweh will divide them and scatter them in Israel. Therefore thy throne shall be imprisoned by thy brother Judah and set to the south, and he shall be thy protector. For when thy brethren are driven north, thou shalt be protected, but for a time, and thou shalt be taken and scattered throughout the earth with thy brother Judah, and shall suffer with him. But thy camp shall ever be to the south, for there doth the breath of Elohim preside, and the fire of Elohim, and the strength of Elohim. And in the 10th month, even in the winter, thou shalt find thy strength, that when the spring shall come, thy seed shall be ready. And thou art as the tower, for thy strength is great, and the sword in the hand of thy seed shall flow with power. And thy seed shall seek violence, being rash. Therefore they shall be held back for a time by thy brother. Yet when they shall be sent forth, they shall be a scourge of justice. And in the last days, when all ye my sons shall gather in thy strength, thy seed shall be an army and the defender of Israel. And a green banner shall go out before thee, and thy seed, and the understanding of Yahweh shall be with thy seed in the last days. And they shall make thy borders, and shall serve to protect all that seek Israel for protection. But these should be not rash, and learn to temper their righteous justice with mercy, for Yahweh loveth all the creation. Therefore remember, thou my son, a sheathed sword and a sharp tongue can win more wars by the bringing of peace. And when peace should not be established, know to strike quickly, that thine enemies might know thy strength and settle in peace, for they are overtaken. And thy daughters shall be taught to carry the shield and to defend the defenseless and seek justice for they that findeth not succor. And their tongue shall be as swords, and their words shall carry, and the thundering of El Elyon shall be heard in their cries, and their victories shall be swift, and they shall repent of their ways, and seek justice for the creation of Elohim. And the proud shall they bring low, and the haughty shall they exhume, with the light of the Creator might shine brightly upon. Wherefore, know that, my son Simeon, that even as thy hand was withered for a time and then healed, so too shall thy seed be restored in fullness in the last days. Chapter 23, the tribe of Levi. He will unite Israel. And filled with the breath of Ha Elohim, Jacob spoke unto his son Levi, saying, Levi, thou used the strength of thy cunning beside thy brother Simeon, and in this it is even as I said before, the Mechorah of you are vessels of malicious violence. For in your secret assembly and in your anger you slew a man and sought death at thy pleasure. Therefore thou too shalt be cursed by thy anger and thy fierce wrath, for thy deeds were cruel. But in thy penance thou sought the succor of Yahweh and to serve Yahweh, and this thy seed shall do. And thus that thy seed should serve Yahweh will divide them and scatter them throughout Israel. Therefore thy throne shall be broken apart for a time and for times, and thy seed shall serve to unite thy brethren, even as thou once divided them. And when that time shall come for my children to leave this land, Yahweh shall rise one up from thy seed to give my sons and my daughters the Torah of Yahweh. And he shall be taken in, as was thy brother Joseph, by the Egyptians, and they shall teach him in war yet he shall run and hide from the face of them. And his brother shall open his mouth, that my son shall be heard, and his sisters shall be riled up alongside him, and these three shall be the salvation of Israel from Egypt. And when thy brethren are driven to the north, and to the east, and to the south, and to the west, thy seed shall be with them. For thou shalt be taken and scattered throughout the earth with thy brethren, and shall suffer with them. And in the first month, even when the spring shall come, thy seed shall make ready that sacrifice in righteousness. And thou art as a veil between the heavens and the earth. For through thy seed shall the power of Yahweh prepare the creation for the coming down of the heavens. But when the veil shall be torn, thy seed shall share in these duties when thy brethren and sistren, yet ye shall teach them that they should know to do so in righteousness. And thy daughters shall do likewise, and pour out their libation. And thy daughters shall do likewise, and pour out their libations to wash the earth clean, and find joy in the wisdom of Ha Elohim, and serve Yahweh in righteousness. And they shall sing the holy songs and dance the holy dances before Yahweh for the pleasure of Ha Elohim. And a banner of white and black and red shall go out before thee, and thy seed, for the love of Yahweh, shall be their foundation and their strength. And in the last days ye shall remember my holy days, and teach them to thy brethren. Both thy sons and thy daughters shall work with thy brother Ephraim to bring them back to their inheritance, and their remembrance shall be great. And thy covenant shall be restored to thee, and thou shalt teach thy brethren again to remember the law of sacrifice. And thy sons and thy daughters shall work as one to teach my seed, yea, even all of the creation, to prepare the earth, to cleanse the earth, and to love all of this, the creation of Elohim. And Levi, my son, I give unto thee this charge, that thy seed shall not forget thy daughters, nor sell their birthright. For at the last days wisdom shall be forgotten, but as a whisper upon the lips of the righteous. Forget not to plant the trees, and pour libations upon the altars, and burn the fire of incense, that Yahweh may be pleased in thy service. And be in counsel with thy brethren, that Yahweh be remembered, and that knowledge be tempered by wisdom, and that strength be tempered by mercy, that my sons and daughters might find understanding in Yahweh. For in thy cunning did thou bring much violence against my house, but in thy seed shall thy cunning be used for the pleasure of Yahweh Elohim. And at the last days ye shall sit upon the throne with thy brethren, and be remembered as he who united Israel in Yahweh. Chapter 24, Tribe of Judah. Israel will praise Yahweh. And filled with the breath of Ha Elohim, Jacob spoke unto his son Judah, saying, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies, and the children of thy father shall bow down before thee. Therefore thy camp shall be made at the east, yet thy throne shall be set to the south, and shall envelop thy brother Simeon, and be his protector. And when thy brethren are driven north, thou shalt be protected for a time, and then thou shalt be taken and scattered throughout the earth with thy brothers, Simeon and Levi, and a remnant of others of thy brethren, and shall suffer with them. But for thy name shall they be known, for thy seed shall hide them. And in the third month, even as the summer comes in, thou shalt find thy strength, that the seed shall be planted to feed thy brethren at the last time. For thou art as a young lion from the prey, my son, thou art gone up, and thy sons shall crouch down, lying in wait, and thy daughters shall speak with the roar of a lioness. And who shall dare to stand against thy seed? For a king shall burst forth from thy seed, even Malachi, ha, Malachim, by way of the fruit of thy loins. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet unto Shiloh shall come, and unto him shall the gathering of Israel be. And I say unto thee, my son, that when the time should come that thou shalt slay thine own son in his righteousness, for it shall come to pass that Judah shall bind his foal unto the vine, and shall bind the son of that foal unto the choice vine. And this, my son, ye shall do, that ye wash thy garments in wine, and thy clothes in the blood of grapes. For their eyes they shall darken as one with wine, and their teeth shall be white with milk. Therefore they shall not see their own drunkenness, and their mouths shall be filled with their own words. And thou shalt be driven from thy throne and made to wander the earth. Yet thy seed shall be strong, and at the last day Joseph shall send his son Ephraim to set them free, and a remnant of his seed shall listen. But at the first thou shalt drown in thy own tongue and hearken not. But a remnant shall be reminded, and thy seed shall return home. But peace shall not be thy keeper, and war shall abound until that day when my brother Esau shall be remembered, and the blood of Isaac shall find peace. And before that day should come, thy seed shall be driven to the north, and to the south, and to the west, and to the east. And the blood of Abraham shall be as the very seed of Adam upon the earth. And in the last days, when the house of Ephraim and the house of Judah shall be as one, Ephraim shall be the lawgiver, and Judah the judge, and a scarlet banner shall follow thee. And thy daughters shall shine as diamonds, coming forth after being hidden for time and times. And these shall be my high priestesses, and shall judge Israel with their voice as a lioness, and shall bring those that would exalt themselves above Ha Elohim to be made low. Chapter 25, the tribe of Dan. Yahweh shall bring justice for Israel. And filled with the breath of Ha Elohim, Jacob spoke unto his son Dan, saying, Dan shall plead for his people, that they be as one of the tribes of Israel. Therefore thy throne shall be set to the west, and shall move to the north, to the easternmost borders. For ye shall be one with the Manasseh, the eldest son of thy brother, that thou shalt repent of thy treachery. And in the 8th month, even before the winter should come in, thou shalt find thy strength, that when the winter should come, thy seed shall be ready. For thou art a serpent by the way, an adder in the path, that biteth the heel of the horse, so that his rider should fall to the west. And many shall come to thy shore, and shall lay with thee, and shall teach thy seed of strange Elohim. And in that day that thy seed shall be taken to the south, and in that day that thy seed shall be taken to the north. War shall travel with thee, and the fruit of thy loins shall cry out. And at the last days shalt thou gather them up unto Yahweh, and they should rebel at the first, following Elohim, made by the hands of men. For Dan shall make his bed with Lilith, that great temptress, and a darkness shall wash over thy seed, and the light of Yahweh shall be to them as a great mystery. But thy brother Manasseh shall seek thee out and find thee, and be thy salvation. And with a blue banner thy seed shall seek the glory of Yahweh, and shall sing, I have waited for thy salvation, O Yahweh. And then shall it be that by the name of thy brother Manasseh, that ye shall be one again in Israel, forsaking the crafts of men. And thy altar shall stinketh no more, and thy ways of war shall be the defense of Israel. For thy ways shall be slippery no more, but thy craft shall be bought in righteousness. And for this thou shalt not lose thy birthright, but shall be one in Israel. that none should divide my sons. Blue is the color of holiness and divinity, representing Israel as a kingdom of priests and priestesses. And thy daughter shall not be barren, but shall fill the north and south with thy seed. And from the north they shall travel to the west. And thy seed shall be with thy brother Joseph, and shall bring strength to him. And thy daughter shall hearken unto thy brother Manasseh, and cease to lead men astray, and shall succor the poor and the needy. And these too shall be mighty hands of justice, lifting up their voices in defense of Manasseh, whose lands shall be taken and must need be returned. And the seed of Dan and the seed of Manasseh shall be one in Yahweh, and the daughters of Dan and the daughters of Manasseh shall as one reclaim their birthright, and their camp shall ever be to the north. For thy seed are of the earth, and there doth the cup of Elohim preside, and the face of Elohim, and the wisdom of Elohim. And at the last days the Torah shall come from the mouths of thy daughters, even as they shall join with thy sisters, the daughters of Levi. And a mighty prophetess shall come from the sea, thy seed, to bring justice to the earth, and to reclaim the moon, and to bring pleasure to the eyes of Yahweh. And she shall speak in the name of Yahweh, and be the seed of Yahweh, and also of Dan, and Manasseh shall reign with her, for she shall be the judger of Yahweh in that day. Therefore, my son, flee from all evil, flee from envy and hatred, grasp to that which is good, and the love of Yahweh, that thy heart be not defiled, and the breath of Elohim shall rest upon thee. Chapter 26. The tribe of Naphtali, the struggle of Israel. And filled with the breath of Ha Elohim, Jacob spoke unto his son Naphtali, saying, Naphtali is a doe let loose. He giveth goodly words, and maketh beautiful his tongue. And thy seed shall run swiftly and sound the shofar, for thy pity for thy brother Joseph shall be remembered, and thy voice shall be heard at last. Therefore thy throne shall be set to the east and to the north, and shall be a wall to defend Israel. And in the 12th month, as the spring should come in, thou shalt find thy strength, that when the summer arises, thy seed shall be ready, having planted fruitful seed. And I would that thou shouldst stand not with thy brethren Joseph in that day, that my seed should be taken to the north. For war shall travel with thee, and the fruit of thy loins shall cry out, and thy camp shall ever be to the north. Yet thou shalt reject thy brothers Levi and Judah. But when thy brethren Joseph was sold, thou wouldst not eat. Therefore thy seed shall be fed, and shall be as an army come to devour. Therefore thy seed shall carry a banner of dark red, and the amethyst shall speak unto thee and unto thy seed. And at the last days thy seed shall war with thy brother Dan in defense of Israel, and together these shall keep the peace, and none shall dare to make war against Israel. And thy daughters shall bring healing waters unto all they who shall desire to drink of it, that they should find strength in Yahweh. And El Elyon shall be with thee and thy seed, and watch over them as they flee to the islands of the sea, and to the mountains, and to the north, and to the east, for the blood of Abraham shall cover all of the earth in that day. And thy sons shall cry out for mercy, and it shall be given them, and thy daughters shall give of their passion, and Yahweh Elohim shall accept of their offering. And to thy seed the teaching and the tradition shall not be wholly lost, but a remnant shall be with thee, and the tree of life shall rise before thee. And this because thou took pity on the man that came unto my house in distress in the winter. And it was he that took the coat of many colors that I had made for thy brother Joseph. And in my sorrow I grieved that this treasure was gone, yet I did not know that it had been returned to my son Joseph. Therefore it shall be that its secrets shall be shared with thy seed, and a remnant shall remember. And in that day, when the wisdom written upon the coat of thy brothers shall again adorn the earth, thy seed shall remember, and shall come home to their inheritance. And at the last day thou shalt be a bridge between Judah and Levi and Joseph, and between Joseph and Judah, and the dove of peace shall be with thee. And in that day Yahweh Elohim shall exalt the humble, for El Elyon loveth they that are despised and rejected by the sons of man. Therefore, my son, fall not asleep unto Yahweh, but remember Yahweh, the Elohim of us. And at the last day, every spirit of deceit shall be trodden down by thy hands. Chapter 27, the tribe of Gad, the fortune of Yahweh. And filled with the breath of Ha Elohim, Jacob spoke unto his son Gad, saying, O my son Gad, raiders shall overcome thee, but thy camp shall be set to the south, and there thou shalt find the breath of Elohim, and the strength of Elohim, and the fire of Elohim. Therefore thou shalt overcome at the last, and thy throne shall be set to the east. And in the 7th month, even as the summer ends, thou shalt find thy strength, that when the winter should come, thy seed shall be ready. And in that day that my sons shall be divided, thou shalt be taken to the north, and the seas that was afore as a wall unto thee shall be thy home. And at the last days thou shalt be found as one wandering upon the earth, a shepherd and a herdsman shall thy seed be in the eyes of Yahweh. And in that day when darkness shall be called light, bitterness called sweet, slander and lies called truth, and violence and covetousness called peace, thy sons and daughters shall awaken. And these shall be a mighty power in the name of Yahweh, for they shall be a force of humility and enlighten the eyes of Adam, that they be the sons and daughters of Elohim. And thy seed shall be valiant in watching over the flocks, that when the wild beasts should come, thou shalt pursue and overtake them. And thou art one of action, and so too shall be thy seed. Thy sons and thy daughters shall ever be on the lookout, and shall not rest until Israel is gathered. And thy sons shall stand ready and be watchmen over Israel, and thy daughters shall dream dreams. In their visions shall surely come to pass. For thy sons shall put their trust in Yahweh in that day, and make clear the path that all of Israel might be one in Yahweh Elohim again. And thy daughters shall be seers, and shall find that which has been lost, and their mothers shall watch over the stakes of Zion as a hen over her nest. For Zion and Israel shall be one. And when the vipers should strike, she shall be ready, and shall strike quickly and with deadly force. Therefore thy daughters shall be a wonder and a sight before all Israel. And all shall say, Yahweh is with the daughters of Gad, for these be seers of Yahweh. And thy sons shall don the regiment of war, yet they shall not conquer, but declare peace, for the fear of Yahweh shall be in them to the sons of man. And a blue banner shall be seen in their armies, march, and words shall be written upon them, that no man shall understand, but by the breath of Yahweh. And mercy shall go before thy way, and it shall be a light in the darkness unto the children of man. Therefore, my son Gad, go thy way in peace, and rest for a time and times, that thou might find thy shame and conquer it, for the sake of Yahweh and for the sake of Israel. And behold, fear not, for Yahweh Elohim, El Elyon, El Shaddai, shall be thy vengeance and shall be thy salvation. Chapter 28, the tribe of Asher, the blessing of Israel. And filled with the breath of Ha Elohim, Jacob spoke unto his son Asher, saying, Out of Asher shall come much grains and fat breads, for thou art as the olive tree, and thou shalt yield delicacies befitting thy king. Therefore thy throne shall be set to the east, and the sea shall be as a wall upon thee, for thou art the peace of Israel. And in the 11th month there shall be heavy rains upon the earth, that thou shalt find thy strength, and that the earth shall be prepared for thee, and thy seed shall be ready. For thy seed shall wear two faces, and they shall seek peace, shall see the face of war upon thee, and they that see war shall see the face of peace. Therefore let thy hands be thy strength in Ha Elohim, and thy tongue be the weapon in Yahweh, that none might defeat thee. Seek ye after truth, and Yahweh shall lead thee, and the breath of Elohim shall be thy breath, and the voice of Ha Elohim shall be upon thy tongue. And in that day, after thou hast been driven north, thy seed shall lay waste to those that should oppress them, and their strength shall be made known. And in the last days thy sons shall bear the weight of bartering in Israel, that the will of Yahweh be known, and the justice of Elohim be made whole. For in that day brother shall turn against brother, sister against sister, father against son, and mother against daughter. So it is that they who shall slay the wicked too shall be wicked, and they that slay the just shall also be just, and thy seed shall be their defenders, and thy seed shall be tasked with the treaties of Israel. Therefore thy camp shall ever be to the north, for there doth the wisdom of Elohim preside. And thy daughters in that day shall be made clean, and shall prepare the table for the banquet, that Israel might make feast in the name of Yahweh. And they shall pour out their libations upon the altars, and serve up the wine to those that shall drink, to the reign of the true king. And the king of peace shall guide them, and the tower of Yahweh shall defend them, and be their strength. And thy daughters shall even be as watchmen upon the towers, and thy sons also shall stand watch and make ready, that the sons of Levi should come forth from their midst and offer up a sacrifice unto Yahweh Elohim in righteousness. And in that day thou shalt sit with Levi and with Judah, and study the words of Yahweh, to know the teaching of Ha Elohim. Therefore, my son Asher, cease not thy prayers and thy supplication before Yahweh, but seek after the wisdom of Elohim, that it should grow in the land as a tree of great strength. And that tree shall be unto thee as a pillar of righteousness before Yahweh Elohim, and written upon it shall be the understanding of Ha Elohim. For even as the serpent shall wind itself upon thy feet and bruise thy heel, the pillar of El Elyon shall bear down to smash its head, even as thou art knelt in thy supplication. Therefore carve the name of Yahweh into the pillars, and carve the Torah of Yahweh into the pillars, and wear these things upon thy heart, that the justice and mercy of Yahweh Elohim be known. Chapter 29, the tribe of Issachar, the reward of Israel. And filled with the breath of Ha Elohim, Jacob spoke unto his son Issachar, saying, Issachar is a strong ass stretched out between two mounds. And seeing that his resting place was good, and the land that it was pleasant, he shall pitch his tent upon the neck of the hill, and begin his labors upon the earth. Therefore his throne shall rest to the north, and be placed between the east and the west, that the knowledge and wisdom of Yah and the mercy of Yahweh shall guide him. And in the 5th month, when the grapes shall be ready for harvest, and the wine of Yahweh be made, thy strength shall come, and thy seed might find joy in the harvest. For the moon shall shine full and bright for thy daughters, and thy sons shall study the words of Yahweh, that they might teach all of Israel the words of El Elyon. For Issachar is a learned man, and his seed shall too be learned in the ways of the earth. and they shall read the stars and seek after the signs and wonders Ha Elohim hath written upon them. And thy sons shall know the times, and thy daughters shall raise their children in wisdom and in all cunning things. Therefore thy camp shall be made to the east, for there doth the knowledge of Elohim dwell, even upon the Quaphim, which means east wind. And in that day that thy seed shall be driven north, thy seed shall scatter upon the winds and upon the seas, and thy seed shall be rooted deep within the earth. Yet Yahweh shall uproot thee, that thy seed should be made to spread out. And at that last day thy daughters shall come in and shall enlighten the sons of man with their knowledge. And thy son shall go forth and shall teach the daughters of man with their wisdom. Therefore thy seed shall lift up their heads from out of the earth, and their eyes they shall pull away from the stars, that they might teach all of Israel the secrets of Yahweh. And Israel is not to be ruled by the heavens, but Yahweh shall be their guide. And Ha Elohim hath written out his decree upon the skies. Yet Israel is to bring the will of Yahweh to the earth, while all other creation is governed by their decree. Wherefore, Issachar, teach thy seed to covet not after gold, nor costly apparel, but to wait upon the will of Ha Elohim and El Elyon, and the spirits of deceit shall have no power over them. Yea, teach thy seed to love the creation, even as Yahweh loveth his creation, and to have compassion for the lowly and the poor and the weak. Issachar, my son, teach thy seed to seek not after slippery things they cannot hold, for this shall lead many to covetousness, fornication, and malice. But teach thy seed to the comfort of Yahweh Elohim, and to share their bread with the poor, and suckle those in need, and to serve their enemies. And this shall be a hard thing for them, for their eyes shall wander off after mysteries. But if they will hearken unto Yahweh their Elohim, great shall be the reward of Israel. Chapter 30, the tribe of Zebulun, the honored of Israel. And filled with the breath of Ha Elohim, Jacob spoke unto his son Zebulun, saying, Zebulun shall dwell to the west and westward. He shall become a haven for truth, resting between the seas, and his border shall be unto Zidon. Therefore his throne shall be to the north, and to the west, and to the east, that thy honor shall be as a sacrifice unto Israel. And in the 4th month, even at the summer, thy seed shall be planted, and thy crops may be gathered, and Israel fed, at that thy calves be made fat, and that their bread be full. For thou didst weep for thy brother Joseph, and kept Israel's secret with a troubled heart. Therefore mercy shall be great in thy seed, and the fatted lamb shall be thine to give. And when Israel shall be ready for to flee this land, thy brother Levi shall take refuge, and should flee unto thy seed, and he shall bless him, and take him in as one of his own, that he be ready to deliver my children from their bondage. And thy seed shall be united and divided, for they shall be as a watchman over thy brother Issachar, and shall be blessed by the seed of Issachar, even as they shall be a blessing to him. And a remnant of thy seed shall follow thy brother Esau, and shall find Yahweh by his seed. And epistles of wisdom shall come forth from the tongue of thy seed, and these shall reject truth at first, but then they shall make their camp into the east, and at last remember Yahweh. And thy seed shall be blessed, and thy blessing shall pour out over all Israel, that the blessing of Israel should extend to the whole of the earth, that in that day none in the borders of Israel should starve or perish, but should be saved. And at the last days, the daughters of Zion shall stand forth and remind the earth of their covenant with Yahweh, and return the cup of Elohim to the temple. that libations might be poured upon the altar, and that which was hidden should be found, and that which had been in darkness shall come to light, and a cloth shall be placed over her to hide her, yet Yahweh shall make her to shine, that none shall see the tarp, but only the light from within. And thy daughters shall stand ready to feed the earth, and to care for her creation, and to bless and to heal the sick, and to stand at the altars. And thy sons shall go out with hands extended, giving alms to the poor, and giving goods with no price, and shall want for nothing, and shall ask for nothing, but shall give as Yahweh hath blessed them. And thy seed shall have compassion in their hearts towards the bowels of mankind, and for the beast, and for the fowl of the air, and for the fish of the sea, and the plants, yea, and all the creations of Ha Elohim. And thou shalt not seek to rule over Israel, but shall be as a king among them. And when Israel shall be as a man in the cold of winter, with no shoes or coat, Zebulun shall find him, and he shall give him meat from his house, and the shoes off his feet, and the coat that is upon him. And when Israel has grown sick with fever, Zebulun shall give him to eat and to drink, and shall care for him until he is well again. For thy seed shall be as the waters divided by the land, yet always seeking the path back, that ye may gather as one again. Therefore teach thy seed that they are to correct without malice, and not be consumed by anger, in this that they shall be brought when the time of Yahweh shall come in. Chapter 31, our mother Dinah, the vindication of Israel. And filled with the breath of Ha Elohim, Jacob spoke unto his daughter Dinah, saying, Dinah is a rose of Israel. For she taketh the cup of salvation of Israel, and pours libations upon the altar of Yahweh. Therefore her throne shall be found in all of Israel, and she shall come down from the north as the south shall come up, and the east and the west shall embrace her. For in that day that Shechem, son of Hamor the Hivite, the prince of the region, saw thee, his passion was drawn, and his soul clung to thee, and he loved thee, and spoke to thee tenderly in his passions. And he declared unto his father, Get me this young maiden as my wife. And it came to pass, thy brothers Simeon and Levi did hear rumors most foul, that this man should take thee, and to lie with thee by force. Therefore did they do this crime unto me, saying, that all the house of Hamor should damage themselves for this marriage to come to pass. And even after the house of Hamor accepted this deception, thy brothers Simeon and Levi did come into their house to wage war, and to kill them, and rob them, and defile them. For they saw this mingling of blood as the mingling of the poor and the unpoor, the holy and the unholy, and they became even that which they had feared. They saw not that thou should bring Yahweh unto the house of Hamor, but only that this house was unworthy. And my house did give up much to keep the peace between Israel and the Canaanites and Perizzites, that they not unite against me and attack me, that Israel be not destroyed. And now we see that thy marriage is strong, and that the house of Hamor is no more, but is as one of Israel. Through thee, my daughter, and in the 3rd year, the 12th month, shall fall twice as the spring should come, in that Israel shall regain her strength, that when the summer arises, her joy should come in. For by the fruit of thy labor shall Israel be united with all the creation, that the fullness might come in. Therefore, by the fruit of the trees shall Israel know that thy month shall come in. And in the last days, after the sons of Israel cease to put aside their wives and their daughters, and the face of Elohim hath no longer been forgotten, thou shalt be remembered, my daughter. And my sons shall regain their strength as they return unto thee thy birthright, and make thy paths known, and keep thy secrets no longer. For thy sons Simeon and Levi, for thy brothers Simeon and Levi, these did ask of me, shall we make our sister like a harlot? Yet in their rash anger and in their violence they did treat thee as such, seeing thee as a possession to own, and not as the strength that thou art. Therefore, in the last days, when thy brother Levi shall remember their sister, and when Simeon shall see thy strength, thou shalt return again Israel from blindness and vengeance unto peace. And the dove of peace shall be made known, and the tree of life shall bear fruit, and thy daughters shall serve Israel, even as thy brothers, and the flowers shall bloom again upon the earth. It says in leap years, Arabet becomes the 13th month, keeping the holy days of this month. It is by the harvest that the leap year is determined. The face of Elohim is an allusion to the divine goddess, Heavenly Mother. Chapter 32, the tribe of Joseph. Yahweh will add to Israel. And filled with breath of Ha Elohim, Jacob spoke unto his son Joseph, saying, Joseph is a fruitful son, even a fruitful son by a spring, whose daughters might march over the wall. Therefore his throne shall span from the west unto the east, with thy son Manasseh to the north, and with thy son Ephraim to the south, that thy seed might cover the whole earth. For Yahweh hath decreed that thy seed shall never perish, so long as the earth shall stand. Thy seed shall spring forth as one gone over a well, and Yahweh shall rise up from thee a righteous branch from the fruit of thy loins. And in the 6th month, even in the time of the harvest, thy seed shall be sent out for the last time, that the crops may be gathered and Israel fed. And the time of harvest shall surely come in, for the kingdom of Yahweh Elohim is an everlasting kingdom which shall not pass away. But the kingdoms of men are like a slumber in the heat of the day, which after the summer shall leave him, shall disappear, and the bridegroom shall become enraged. Yet thy throne shall abide in strength. Agile shall be thy hands, made strong by the hands of the mighty one of Jacob, in the shepherd, the rock of Israel, even by the Ha Elohim of thy father, who shall help thee, by Elohim Shaddai, who shall bless thee with blessings of heaven above, and with blessings of the abyss that lie under, and with blessings of the breast of compassion. The blessings of thy father hath prevailed above the blessings of my ancestors unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills. And it shall come to pass that upon the head of Joseph, my son that was separated from his brethren, shall be the crown of Israel. And my son Manasseh shall make camp to the west, and with thy brother Dan to the north, whilst thy son Ephraim shall make his camp to the west. For therein dwelleth the mercy of Yahweh. And at the last days Yahweh shall rise up from thy seed one that shall restore the Torah of Yahweh unto my sons and my daughters. And he shall be born of Ephraim and of Judah and of Levi, but he shall be the seed of Joseph, and shall do the works of Ephraim. And in that day my children shall not be ready, and shall fight bitterly one with another, until he shall fall that would restore my sons and my daughters to the Elohim of our fathers. Yet he shall set the path straight, and he shall once again call upon my daughters to heal the sick, and offer libations before the altar of Yahweh. And others will Yahweh call up to finish his work, for he shall be taken before his time, and this because of the wickedness of mankind. And in that day shall thy daughters shall reach out to find the lost sheep of the shepherd, and shall be leaders of men, and shall dream dreams and prophecy in the name of Yahweh. And the daughter of Dan shall do the works of Ephraim and shall help to finish that which the son of Joseph should begin. And many daughters shall be called upon to do the work of Yahweh, and great and marvelous shall the works of Yahweh be, even as such that the earth hath never before seen. And thy sons shall fight one with another at the first, and that adversary will be given power over them. But a remnant shall come forth from Ephraim to unify my sons and daughters, that the prophecy of Yahweh that I have given unto Israel this day shall be made known, and should come again to pass. But even as this remnant of the garment of my son Joseph hath been preserved, so shall a remnant of the seed of my son be preserved by the hand of Ha Elohim, and be taken unto himself, while the remainder of the seed of Joseph shall perish, even as the remnant of his garment. Therefore, my son Joseph, continue to walk in the mitzvah of Yahweh, and El Elyon shall exalt thee, and shall bless thee and thy seed with the good things of the earth and of the heavens forever and ever. Chapter 33, the tribe of Benjamin, the right hand of Israel. And filled with the breath of Ha Elohim, Jacob spoke unto his son Benjamin, saying, Benjamin shall be as a ravenous wolf. At the dawn he shall devour the prey, and at twilight he shall divide his possessions. Therefore his throne shall be bordered between the north and the south, between the east and the west, that Israel should look inward. And at the beginning of thy seed, this shall be as a watchman over thee. But at the end it shall be as an example unto Israel. And in the second month, when the light of spring should come, thou shalt gather up the seeds from the previous harvest and make them ready, that they be planted in their time. For thy seed shall find rest inward, even as a seed planted in the ground, that the roots may dig deep to find nourishment, and that their leaves might stretch forth to the sky to gather the warmth of the sun and drink deeply from the rains. And thy inner wisdom shall grant thee, and thy seed inner sight, and a gift of reading the stars. And the night sky shall tell thee when all times should come to pass, even as they told thee that thy brother Joseph was dwelling here in Egypt. And after thy seed should flee Egypt, and to return unto Yahweh, thy seed shall be a grievous stain, and thy sword shall be in thy left hand. What does that mean? In the ancient world, the right hand was seen as being more favorable. In Egypt, the left hand was used for curses, while to the Israelites, it was merely less favorable than the right. And for thy sins, thou shouldst never be destroyed and lost after my son should again be separated. But thy seed shall hide among thy brother Judah, and shall be made safe, that their ways of war should be lost, and their battles should shift from those around them to that within. And thy camp shall be made to the west, that at the last days thy sister Dinah shall find thee, and should bring thee home. And the coat of many colors torn asunder by thy brethren should be sewn together once more, and should be worn by thy brother Joseph in righteousness. And in that day thy daughters shall be freed from the captivity of thy sons, and shall shine forth as a light in the darkness, to bring the glory of Yahweh to the earth. And a dove of peace should descend from thy seed, and shall lead the daughters of Israel into battle, that they should remember their place. And thy sons shall kneel and stand ashamed for their forbearance, and shall set aside their gains and divide their spoils, that all of Israel should be free and reap the blessings of thy seed. Oh, remember, my son, that the sword of man is the death of mankind, and his blood shall cry out from the earth. Therefore, Benjamin, my son, be thou a follower of compassion, showing mercy to all mankind, even they with evil in their hearts for thee. and showing the poor man mercy, that the Malachim of the heavens should sing thy praises before Yahweh. Do this, and Yahweh, even El Elyon, shall give unto thee and thy seed an everlasting possession, and that ye should no longer be called a ravenous wolf, but a worker of Yahweh, giving nourishment to those in need, and doing works which are good in the sight of Yahweh. And all these are the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 sons of Jacob and his daughter also. And these are the final words that their father Jacob spoke unto them and blessed them. Every one according to his blessing did he bless them. Chapter 34, the death of Jacob. And it came to pass that Jacob spoke unto his sons, and he did charge them, and say unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite, in the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before the Mamre in the land of Canaan, which our father Abraham bought with the field of Ephron the Hittite for possession of a burying place. For there were buried Abraham, our father, and Sarah, our mother, his wife. And there too they buried Isaac, our father, and Rebekah, our mother, his wife. And there I buried Leah. The purchase of the field and the cave that is therein was from the children of Heth. And when Jacob had made an end of commanding his sons, he gathered up his feet into the bed, and yielded up the Holy Ghost, and was gathered unto his people. Joseph fell upon his father's face, and wept upon him, and kissed him. And Jacob had lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. Jacob grew in Yahweh to the 147th degree. And it came to pass that Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father. The physicians embalmed Jacob. And after 40 days were fulfilled for him, for so are fulfilled the days of those which are embalmed. And the Egyptians mourned him 70 days. And it came to pass that when the days of his mourning were past, Joseph spoke unto the house of Pharaoh, saying, If now I have found grace in your eyes, speak, I pray you, in the ears of Pharaoh, saying, My father made me swear, saying, Lo, I die in my grave, which I have digged for me in the land of Canaan. There shalt thou bury me. Now therefore I pray thee, let me go up and bury my father, and I will come back here again. Pharaoh said, Go up and bury thy father, according as he made thee swear. And it came to pass that Joseph went up to bury his father, and with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt, and all the house of Joseph and his brethren, and the house of his father. Only their little ones and their flocks and their herds were left in the land of Goshen. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great company. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond Jordan. And there they mourned with a great and very sore lamentation. And he made a mourning for his father 7 days. And it came to pass that when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning on the floor of Atad, they said, This is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians. Wherefore the name of it was called Abel Mizraim, which is beyond Jordan. And the sons of Jacob did unto him according as he had commanded them, for his sons carried him unto the land of Canaan, and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah, which Abraham bought with the field for possession of a burying place of Ephron the Hittite before Mamre. And it came to pass that Joseph returned into Egypt, he and his brethren, and all that went up with him to bury his father, after he had buried his father. And it came to pass that when the brethren of Joseph saw that their father was dead, they said, Joseph will peradventure hate us, and will certainly requite us all the evil which we did unto him. And they sent a messenger unto Joseph, saying, Thy father did command before he died, saying, So shall ye say unto Joseph, Forgive, I pray thee now, the trespass of thy brethren, and their sin, for they did unto thee evil. And now we pray thee, forgive the trespass of the servants of Elohim of thy father. And it came to pass that Joseph wept when they spoke unto him, And his brethren also went and fell down before his face. And they said, Behold, we be thy servants. And Joseph said unto them, Fear not, for I am in the place of Elohim. But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but ha Elohim meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive. Now, therefore, fear ye not. I will nourish you and your little ones. And it came to pass that Joseph comforted his brothers, and he spoke kindly unto them. Chapter 35, the vision of Joseph. And it came to pass that Joseph dwelt in Egypt, and Joseph and Asenath saw the children of their son Ephraim up unto even the third generation. And the children of Machir also, the son of Manasseh, were brought up upon the knees of Joseph and Asenath. And it came to pass that in his old age, Joseph said unto his brethren, I die and go unto my fathers, and I go down to my grave with joy. And Elohim of my father Jacob to be with you, to deliver you out of affliction in the days of your bondage. For the angel of Yahweh hath visited me, and I have obtained a promise of Yahweh, that out of the fruit of my loins, Yahweh Elohim will raise up a righteous branch out of my loins. For unto thee, whom my father Jacob hath named Israel, a prophet, not the Messiah who is called Shiloh. And this prophet shall deliver my people out of Egypt in the days of thy bondage. And it shall come to pass that they shall be scattered again, and a branch shall be broken off, and shall be carried unto a far country. Nevertheless, they shall be numbered in the covenants of Yahweh when the Messiah cometh, for he shall be made manifest unto them in the latter days, in the spirit of power, and shall bring them out of darkness into light, out of hidden darkness and out of captivity unto freedom. And a seer shall Yahweh my Elohim raise up, who shall be a choice seer unto the fruit of my loins. Thus saith Yahweh, the Elohim of my fathers, unto me, a choice seer will I raise up out of the fruit of thy loins, and he shall be esteemed highly among the fruit of his brethren, and his brethren shall be of great worth unto them, even to the bringing of them to the knowledge of the covenants which I have made with thy fathers. And I will give unto him a commandment, that he shall do none other work, save the work which I shall command him. And I will make him great in mine eyes, for he shall do my work. And he shall be great like Moses, whom I have said I will raise up unto you to deliver my people, O house of Israel. And this Moses will I raise up to deliver my people out of the land of Egypt. But a seer will I raise up out of the fruit of thy loins, and unto him will I give power to bring forth my word unto the seed of thy loins, and not to the bringing forth of my word only, saith Yahweh, but to the convincing them of my word, which shall have already gone forth among them. Wherefore the fruit of my loins shall write, and the fruit of the loins of Judah shall write, and that which shall be written by the fruit of thy loins, and also that which shall be written by the fruit of the loins of Judah shall grow together unto the confounding of false doctrines and laying down of contentions, and establishing peace among the fruit of thy loins, and bringing them to the knowledge of their fathers in the latter days, and also to the knowledge of my covenant, saith Yahweh. And out of weakness he shall be made strong in that day when my work shall commence among all my people, unto the restoring thee, O house of Israel, saith Yahweh. Behold, that seer will Yahweh bless, and they that seek to destroy him shall be confounded. For this promise of which I have obtained of Yahweh, of the fruit of my loins, shall be fulfilled. Behold, I am sure of the fulfilling of this promise, and his name shall be called after me, and it shall be after the name of his father, and he shall be like unto me, for the thing which Yahweh shall bring forth by his hand, by the power of Yahweh shall bring my people unto salvation. I am sure of this thing, even as I am sure of the promise of Moses, For the angel of Yahweh hath said unto me, I will preserve thy seed forever. And the angel of Yahweh hath said, Yahweh will raise up a Moses, and I will give power unto him in a rod, and will write judgment unto him in writing. Yet Yahweh will not loose his tongue, that he shall speak much. For Yahweh will not make him mighty in speaking, but Yahweh will write unto him the Torah by the finger of the hand of God, and will make a spokesman for him. And the angel of Yahweh said unto me also, Yahweh will raise up unto the fruit of thy loins, and will make for him a spokesman. And behold, Yahweh will give unto him that he shall write the writings of the fruit of thy loins unto the fruit of thy loins, and the spokesman of thy loins shall declare it. And the words which he shall write shall be the words which is expedient in my wisdom, should go forth unto the fruit of thy loins. And it shall be as if the fruit of thy loins had cried unto them from the dust. For Yahweh knoweth their faith, and they shall cry from the dust, yea, even teshuvah unto their brethren, even that after many generations have gone by them. And it shall come to pass that their cry shall go, even according to the simpleness of their words. Because of their faith, their words shall proceed forth out of my mouth unto their brethren, which are the fruit of thy loins. And the weakness of their words will I make strong in their faith, unto the remembering of my covenant, which I have made unto thy fathers. And the covenant which Yahweh make with me and thy seed, Joseph, is this, that wherever thy seed shall dwell, inasmuch as they shall keep my commandments, they shall prosper in the land. And inasmuch as they will not keep my commandments, they shall be cut off from my presence. And it came to pass that Joseph spake unto them, saying, Teach thy children, therefore bring them up. And it came to pass that Joseph spake unto them, saying, Teach thy children, therefore bring them up in the right way, that they should go, that they should not depart from it. And Yahweh shall keep the covenants, and my seed shall never perish as long as the earth should stand. Therefore God will surely visit you and bring you out of this land unto the land which he swore unto Abraham and unto Isaac and unto Jacob. And Joseph confirmed many other things unto his brethren, and took an oath of the children of Israel, saying unto them, Ha Elohim will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones from hence. And it came to pass that Joseph died, having reached 110th degree, and they embalmed him, and they put him in a coffin in Egypt, and he was kept from burial by the children of Israel, that he might be carried up and laid in the sepulchre with his father. And it came to pass that when Israel left the land of Egypt, they did remember the oath which they swore unto him, their father Joseph. All right, that is the end of the book of Joseph. Thank you so much for joining me today on Prophets of Babel, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.